we'll do the live thing first. Like, hey everybody, welcome back to the Bigmark podcast. It's me, your host, Bigmark. If it's your first time watching, welcome. If not, welcome back. Like I always say, if you ever want to reach out to the podcast for any reason, hit us up. If you want to come on as a guest or anything like that, we'd always love to have you. I always encourage my friends to ask to come on the podcast, because sometimes I might not necessarily, I'm not avoiding asking anybody. Sometimes I just, I don't know. I don't think everyone necessarily wants to come on, so sometimes I don't necessarily ask. But anyway, I should start doing that a little bit more. But if you ever did want to hit us up in the DMs at the Bigmark Pod, at the Bigmark Podcast on X or Instagram, wherever you're at. I think the best way to ever do that, is hit me up in the DMs. But you can also, do the comments. Engage that way, start the conversation, as they say. But like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. That's the best way you can support the podcast, especially by watching and being here right now. And I can't thank everyone enough. But if you ever did want to go that extra mile, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/BigmarkPod, and there's a couple of different levels there that you can kind of like check out. So pretty cute, pretty fun. Sorry, this is a box in the way, but again, check out the video. You'll see the box in the way. We now have video on Spotify, and of course, check out our YouTubes, Marky YouTubes. Subscribe to the channel there if you are watching. And you might be checking out today's title of the episode, and haven't quite decided exactly what I'm going to call it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to call it something kind of like HelloFresh or something like that. In no way are they affiliated with this podcast, even though if they would like to, hit me up. But I kind of, just want to talk about, these pre-made meal order systems, however you want to kind of necessarily call them. There's a bunch of them out there: Blue Menu, HelloFresh, Chef's Plate, all these different ones. And they're the service you essentially subscribe to. If you've never heard of one of these before, you essentially subscribe to this service, and every week you get to pick 3 to 4. I don't even know. I think you can do up to 7 meals, but you can pick from a menu of all these different really great meals. At least with HelloFresh, there's always great, cool options and lots of different ones depending on your taste and depending on what kind of food you like. They got the big 3. They always got pork and chicken and beef in some way, shape, or form. But I kind of wanted to talk about them today. I've been using them for a while, and it really helps me kind of still cook at home. And essentially, all the ingredients are super fresh. They're all whole ingredients. They make like little spice blends and things like that to add into the mix. But everything else is whole, whether it's the milk that they give you, or the cream, or the cheese, or they give you like whole heads of garlic, great vegetables. Everything is like, if anything is processed, it's like to ground the beef. It's not just like a fucking steak. It's ground beef. But I like using them. However, it is a little bit more expensive than just like buying the ingredients straight up. I have to admit, sorry HelloFresh, sorry all these places, but you are paying for the convenience. And don't get me wrong, the service I pay for, it's a little bit, less involved. You're getting a lot of the ingredients you have to chop up yourself or hand process, if you will. But I know HelloFresh and a lot of these other services also offer like completely, like all the ingredients are already chopped up and ready to go. You're kind of just like popping them in a pan or putting them in the oven, however you're going to do it. And it's kind of tickety-boo that way. So it can be super easy if you're the type of person who's like, I can't fucking figure out any meals to do. I sit there and I don't even know. I'm on Pinterest every day finding I have millions of recipes, but I can't do any of them because I don't know which ingredients to get. And that's the other great thing, is that they give you the amount of ingredients for the meal. So at the end of it, everything's used up, right? Which is always nice. Makes you feel a little bit more accomplished, all that whatever. But that's the thing. It helps you do that feel that accomplishment, because it is great to cook for yourself. I know it's super easy just to, Uber eat something and order something in, and especially since the whole COVID years, I think a lot of us have become accustomed to ordering out a lot. And with the price of food now, honestly, if you're getting a good deal through some of these apps, essentially you're paying about as much as you would if you bought your groceries for the week anyway. So again, not necessarily a good thing, but obviously that's way more processed foods. It's not necessarily good for you. Any restaurant that's cooking, they're not, unless it's a health food restaurant, aren't necessarily always using the top-notch, healthiest ingredients possible. In fact, that's why a lot of those places fucking taste good, is because they're using, butter and fucking fats and lots of sugar and salt and all this different stuff that isn't necessarily always good for you and your body. So that's the other thing. These Hello Fresh meals and all these different pre-made meals, they're fucking super, they're way healthier for you than the alternative, as I said. And again, you are paying for the convenience. You're paying for this whole system to be ready, and it just shows up at your door. You don't have to go to the grocery store once a week. You can figure it out, or once every 2 weeks, however you kind of budget it out and things like that. And like I said, there's all these different add-ons. At least the subscription model the subscription plan that I'm on, allows you get a free breakfast for life, they call it. So whether it's a couple bagels they'll toss in, or some breakfast sausages, really good. These little they're kind of like the Starbucks egg bites kind of thing. Those are really good too. So they take care of you. And again, it just is another helpful, convenient thing to try to be okay, let's try to eat better foods, eat whole foods, and try to go, because again, that's the thing. A lot of people try to diet. I myself, I'm trying to lose a lot of weight because I have a hernia, umbilical hernia, that I need to get taken care of, and the doctor says I got to lose 100 pounds or something like that. So I think that's just an aiming point, but still, it's a lot of weight. So I got to watch what I'm eating too, and I haven't always been good at that because I'm so fucking busy all the time. I don't really have a lot of time to cook, and that's the problem, is that a lot of times when you can order things and you can time things up, it's fucking showing up at your house right as you're getting home. You have 15 minutes to eat, you get it in you, and you get the fuck out. Yes, of course, we can meal prep. Yes, of course, we can do all this stuff. But, again, you got to have time to do that. So, these services really help with that. In fact, actually, my buddy Luke Thomas, who I used to play football with at Western, shout out Lukey boy, he actually is one of the owners of Healthy Eats Incorporated, and they are the same ideas as all these other services we've been talking about, but they're more or less completely, fully nutritionally balanced and locally sourced, completely made meals that you're kind of just reheating, as far as I know. So again, way better than fucking Michelinas or Hungry Man's. They're probably frozen in a certain way, some of them, but actually, sorry Lukey, I shouldn't talk about that, but they come pre-made. They're already ready. You're heating them up, you're munching them that way. So whether they're just refrigerated, whether they're frozen already, I'm sure he's taking his care in preparing everything, and it's always fresh and it's always good. Freezing stuff isn't always that bad. In fact, with a lot of fruits and some vegetables, I mean, obviously, after the freezing process, they're all fucked up, but it actually converts a lot of the antioxidants. So, if you're going to be eating blueberries, you actually want to eat frozen blueberries, because there's a conversion process in the freezing process that converts some of the molecules, whatever, some of the chemicals and enzymes or whatever that's inside the. I'm starting to lose you here, but it actually helps convert some of those antioxidants into more rapidly available, better antioxidants. Actually, the same thing goes for broccoli sprouts too. If you freeze them, there's some biological chemical. There's some whatever chemical, I guess that's the only way to say it, that is created that is highly beneficial. Chemical isn't always necessarily the bad. It's a fucking chain or a compound of molecules and atoms and whatever. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But again, check out check out Lukey Thomas's business, Healthy Eats Incorporated. They're in London and Hamilton in the GTA. So if you're around there, look into that. If you're looking for quick, healthy meals, I haven't tried them myself yet, but I hope to soon. Just because, again, it's kind of something that's definitely would kind of more fit my lifestyle, and I'll reach out soon. But again, all these services, at the end of the day, they're there as a convenience. They're there to help. They're there to make your life easier. And I think that's the thing, is that, you know, it's important to cook at home. And I think again, as I mentioned earlier, the change or the habits that we got into during COVID were a lot easier to kind of just eat out, because all of a sudden all these restaurants that you weren't able to go to anymore created takeout services, even ones that didn't have takeout. Like, I mean, who was it? It was someone I was talking to, I think at the Keg. One of the hardest things ever, because I used to sell beer to them. One of the hardest things you could ever do at the Keg, or at least the challenge, one of the hardest challenges that they ever faced was COVID and getting their food out there, because they were such a dine-in facility. No one ever really took out the Keg. They didn't even have fucking takeout, as far as I know. You just take your bag or take your to-go container, maybe. But during COVID, they were fucked, because no one's going in. No one's going to go to the Keg, and there was no dine-in. You weren't allowed. So they had to come up with a way to still give people a Keg experience at home. Again, very hard, especially with steak. It's hard to cook that properly. It's easy to overcook it. There's mashed potatoes, there's fucking vegetables, there's Billy Miner pies that are fucking frozen. Like, the logistics are crazy for you to even offer any of those, like, completely signature items from the Keg. But they're a great example of these restaurants that you would have never have taken out from, only went to, that all of a sudden offer takeout. And then you're like, cool, I can have some type of taste, literally, can have some type of taste of normalcy during this whole thing. And that stuck. That completely stuck, as we all pretty much knew. I don't think that was a big surprise. But again, all these, delivery services, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, all these motherfuckers. They have all these different services, and, the huge corporations dealing with all these different, they're middlemen, right? So, like, they're dealing with these restaurants, and all of a sudden they're fucking up the deliveries. Like, trust me, I've had crazy deliveries at my place. I live in the basement of a house, and you have to go through the back to get to the house, and how all the times they've left it at the front, which I get, but you have a space to tell them where to deliver it, and all the times, and you're just like, what the fuck, man? So, I know, first world problems, right? But again, it's something that's stuck, and it's great, and grateful if you're able to access that stuff. But on top of it all, again, not always the healthiest items that are available for delivery, so to speak. So again, check out all these services, whether you're using HelloFresh, whether you're using any of these other ones. Again, no affiliation with HelloFresh. I just happen to use them myself, so that's who I'm gonna be talking about. So, anyway, it's been fantastic. It's been another great episode, short and sweet. This one, I mean, how deep can we go on this? On this, it's great. It's great service. Try it out if you can afford it. Hit me up. I got some like free referral boxes or some shit like that. But again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for listening. Love you all. Patreon, I almost said Matreon. Patreon, YouTube's shout out. Love y'all. Peace.